What's going on, everybody? What's cracking? What's popping? What's what? Well, I don't even know. I don't even know what's going on right now. But welcome to beginning of the week. Thanks for joining us today. I wanted to first off and foremost say thank you to our guest that came out last week. She was a delight to have on here. And for everyone that didn't catch that episode, we had a pottery maker come out and explain to us a little bit about what she does and how she does it. So I wanted to say thank you, Nanette, for taking the time more than anything. I appreciate that so much. And the conversation was nice. It was fun. It was entertaining. To sit in this room with another person other than myself. Because sometimes I feel like a psycho talking to myself. Like this is my own little imprisonment right here. And the only person that I could talk to is this guy. And yeah. But man, after we got off air and all that stuff, we sat down, we had a little conversation for about 30, 45 minutes, and we were just talking about her. She lost her dad a long time ago, but we just started talking about like how it was with her growing up here in Asheville, and comparing how it was when I was growing up wherever I was living and all that stuff. But what her parents would do while when she was little, the fun stuff that they used to do together, and and that put a lot of thoughts into my head. Just growing up in general. I mean, growing up as isn't that the strangest thing? Like, we grow up to do whatever it is that we're gonna do, but like we don't stay this small. We keep going and going and going, and at the beginning we're just a little infant. We're just this baby that our parents are just trying not to trying not to die, not to somehow kill somehow, and it's such a unbelievably and overwhelming task. I'm not a parent. All I have is a dog, but man, I'm a helicopter dog parent. I can only imagine what it would be taking care of an infant. Because an infant, when they come out, they don't know anything. They're just there. I mean, they're relying on you, to change them and feed them and not overdose them with whatever. I mean, you're trying to just stimulate their head and their mind and let them find out what things are, and then pretty soon they're walking around and they're discovering new things, which is probably even more scary than having the kid in those roddy Piper diapers. Just to have from 1 minute not walking to the next minute they're spraying damn Windex into an outlet, or shaving the dog, spray painting the cat, whatever they're getting into, that sort of thing. Then as like time passes, and then then puberty happens, and that is probably the scariest thing. When you hit that damn puberty stage, and now you're dealing, now your kid is dealing with all these devilish thoughts about, what's going on with my body? Why is, what's happening? I just, the other day I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he relinquished some information that probably isn't the best, but I mean, hey, it's life, man. Whatever. But he walked in on his 14-year-old discovering his own body the other day, strangling that damn badger. And, if you get what I'm saying, I mean, shaving the poodle or whatever, flopping that dolphin or flogging a hamster or something like that, whatever it is, right? And my buddy said he didn't know how to react, so all he did was close the door and jump into his car, and he didn't come home until his wife got there, and now here it is. Now it's the most embarrassing time of the day for his kid, and that's dinner time, and so that conversation around that table was pretty silent for the better part of all of it. So and his wife just couldn't figure out, like, why is everyone being so damn quiet? What is there a secret that someone's keeping from me, or what's happening? And then later on that night when they were going to bed, he relinquished what he saw, and so now they're like trying to work that out, what to do, like how to go about that sort of thing, because now, he said the conversation was, still, till to this day, not, I mean, because this happened 3 days ago or so. But now he's having a hard time looking at his son. And he's just like, I know it's normal, I get it, but like how do you go about talking about, that sort of thing, or should you just let it go? That kind of thing happened to my brother a long time ago. He and his, he graduated from Texas A&M. He had this big graduation party or whatever, and so they were making a trip down to wherever they were, Las Cruces or whatever, and they were at this bar, and they had this wrestling ring in the middle of the bar, and there were girls that were in the ring, and whoever put in the most money, right, was able to go up there and oil these, these two fine-looking women down and have a wrestling match with them. So everyone's out there like pulling change out of their socks, and like some of them are running out to the car, like looking under floor mats and just trying to like make this happen, because that was going to be my brother's graduation gift from everybody. So they collected all that money and decided, and here it is. Brother hops over those ropes and starts baby oiling that thing up. And so he's wrestling with these two fine females. And so later on, they're making their way back, and they've had a lot to drink and all that. So his buddy and him decided that they were just gonna stay over at my brother's mom's house. And so, and this is in El Paso, Texas, and it's towards the beginning of summer, so it's hot. I mean, you really want your flesh to really stick to you like that? Go to El Paso in the summertime. And so my brother decides that he's going to take the floor, or at least that's where he passed out or whatever. And his best friend, this cat named Froggy. Froggy was like 298 at that time. So he's just solid. He's just a solid piece of human. And so, in the middle of the night, starts getting hot, and Froggy starts undressing himself and everything. And the next morning, my brother's stepdad decides that he's going to go wake up my brother to ask him if he would help him mow the lawn. And so he's knocking on the door and all that stuff. And he, no one's waking up. And finally, my brother's stepdad opens up the door and sees, Froggy naked and with his ass up in the air, and the entire room smells like baby oil. So, he gets to thinking, you know, is I mean, he's thinking that my brother's pitching from the other side of the left field or whatever. So, for 2 weeks or so, my brother's stepdad couldn't really look at my brother directly in the eye because he thought that, that he was, having intercourse with his best friend. And because, if you catch someone's ass up in the air and the whole room smells like baby oil, you get to thinking a couple things. And so, I was just telling that to my friend, about what, about his situation with his son and that sort of thing. But, we got a great laugh out of it. So, but man, growing up is strange. One minute you're reading to your son or daughter, a bedtime story, and the next thing that kind of disappears, and now you got, you got them, looking at their phones all the time and looking at Instagram with some girl playing damn volleyball, with like a shoestring, just, holding up that piece of swimwear or whatever you want to call it, and a shirt, that barely fits her or whatever, and it says, I rode the Big Johnson on it, or something like that. And you remember those shirts? You remember Big Johnson t-shirts? On the back they had that one guy, that one guy with glasses. He kind of looked like Where's Waldo, but more of a nerdvert, a nerdvert cousin or whatever, without that Cat in the Hat cap or whatever. But you'd see this guy playing, on the back of the shirt, you'd see him playing cornhole with some blonde or whatever, and at the bottom it would say like something like you'll love our big sacks, or you'd see him playing pool, and on the back you'd read, get your stick, and get your balls felt, because of the pool, the pool table or whatever. But damn, man, those Big Johnson t-shirts, I forgot all about those. And there's a kid that I went to school with that wore those shirts, and man, what was the other shirt? Oh, the Spud McKenzie shirts. That old Bud Light eye patch dog or whatever it was. He had that, like someone just put a fucking circle on his around his eye or something and just spray painted just that part of his eye or whatever. But this kid would just wear those to school, and so what kind of upbringing that young male had. But the teacher would always make him switch his shirts inside out, just because of what they had on it. You can't have some guy saying fluff my nuts or whatever on the back, and some Bud Light dog chasing that dude down or whatever he's doing. I don't know, whatever they're doing. But nowadays you wouldn't even be able to walk around with that at school. I mean, they wouldn't even let you into the fucking parking lot. I mean, that's what Nanette and I were kind of discussing in a way. Like, it just kind of took me back, like when she said, man, I wish I could go back to the 90s. And I agree with her, man. I do. I wish I could go back. I mean, isn't it crazy how the 80s and 90s, you can get away with so many things? Because no one had a cell phone, or, no one had the internet. So, you could actually, you actually had to think about things without having, the answer just come up in front of you, right in front of you, like there was no imagination. or now. The imagination is just gone. That's probably why we have all these movies that are horrible. Just remake after remake. But back then, there weren't any they didn't have any cameras everywhere like they do now. Or GPS on your phone. They're tracking you every minute and that sort of thing. In the early, in the 80s and 90s, you could literally get on your bike without your helmet, mind you, right? Steal an old gold cigarette from your aunt and cross over to another state, and not a single person would even know except you. And damn, I miss that thing. I miss all that. I miss having the pleasure and the freedom of not having all of this. It just seemed like life was just so much more pleasant than what we have now. And I guess it's because, I don't know, everything felt just more alive. You don't see the kids on bikes. I mean, it's not like I'm watching kids on bikes, all right? It just seemed like everything it felt more on like a living, breathing level. Everything didn't have to happen all at once. Everyone's, what's that? The attention spans. Everyone, that's our attention spans suck now. But back then, damn, if you were watching a movie, remember that what they put on the cassettes back a long time ago? Oh, Be Kind, Rewind or whatever. You remember that? You ran a VHS, and then if you took it back to wherever you got it from, and you didn't rewind that tape or whatever, they'd hit you with that $1 fine. Man. See, just like stuff like that. Now it's like stream this, stream that. And it may seem like I'm complaining or whatever, but it's everything's just given to us now. Or at least that's what it feels like. You didn't have to really muster up and fight for what it is that you were trying to go for. It just seems like everything and everyone, seems to be in this nowadays. It just seems like we're in this rat race on who saw this first, who can post this as faster than this person. Almost like we're living in like we're playing stock market with our lives all the time. I guess. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I guess it just twists my dick. That's all it does. It just does. I'm so happy that I grew up in the time that I did. And I probably sound old. I sound old. But growing up, if you didn't hear the news or that night or read a newspaper, then, you were kind of shit out of luck when it came down to knowing what was going on around you. You were relying on maybe a neighbor to tell you, or word of mouth or whatever that and you only get 60% of what the actual story is all about or whatever, but that was okay at the time. 60% was just enough. You didn't need to hear the whole story 12 times over, like they do nowadays. It's good God, come on. Tell the story, end the story, and let's move on. But I guess it's just I don't know, I guess I miss the simplistic side of life without all this all the social media and everything else. And look at what I'm doing. This is social media. But I don't know. Simplistically, life was so easy. And I know we can't go back. I mean, it's impossible to go back. But sometimes that nostalgic feeling just takes over me and just, I don't know. I'll get going. I'll get going on a rampage of thought when it comes down to growing up. Because I love that stuff. I do. Like, again, if I could hop into a damn car, and I'm not talking about wearing, Michael J. Fox's life vest, and going back to the past and the future, present, and all that other stuff. I'm not talking about that. I just wish that if I did have kids, that they could actually share a little bit more. Just have that notion of not having a cell phone around you all the time. And you can and you didn't have to tell your parents where you were going. You just went. So, because it's not that way anymore. But, damn, I'm not sure how I got onto this, to be quite honest. But damn, that's just how it goes sometimes, But last week, having our conversation with our first guest, I felt a little nervous, because I don't do interviews. I don't know. I'm not an interviewer. I didn't go to school for it and to be honest, I've never done it before. Like all this I've never done before. And I guess, I mean, in a way it's kind of like it's almost like going down on a girl for the first time. That's how I felt the interview was. In the middle of it, I'm like, man, I'm not sure what to do. Like, do I kiss this? Do I, and not to sound vulgar or nasty or anything, or do I, or lick that? I mean, what do I do with my hands? What are my hands supposed to do? Is that supposed to be there? You start just questioning what you're doing in the middle of everything. And, and the only thing I can do is just, when I have a person in here, when we have a person in here, is just hopefully get better. Hopefully get used to having a person sitting across from me and them just enjoy themselves more than anything. Because I don't want to waste people's time. I don't want to do that. There's a lot of other questions that I wanted to ask her, but also one thing I didn't want to do during the interview more than anything is I didn't want it to feel like a news interview. I wanted it to be loose. I didn't want it to feel, tight like these guys that are wearing these skinny jeans. What, today I was pumping gas and I ran into a guy at the gas station this morning and like I just said, and so while I'm pumping gas and everything, I couldn't help but this cat just wearing these skinny jeans, and I could just feel his legs just trying to breathe, but they couldn't because they didn't have any oxygen in them. You can almost hear his bells and whistles just say, help me, because they're just getting sucked inside his own body, and it even hurt me to even look at him, because that's, in a way, that's kind of how I felt during the interview. I felt like skinny jeans, and I don't know why, but I just wanted to make things, the next guest, we have another guest coming in here, in a couple weeks. And hopefully, by then I'll have myself straightened out a little bit more, and I won't be, hopefully, I'll have myself worked out. I'll have my head game, straight, you know? But the only thing I can do more than anything is just try. Right? Some interviews aren't going to go as well as others, but am I sorry for it? Nope. Not. Not. So, anyways, again, I don't, it was a good interview for the first. So, what else has been going on? Oh, speaking of trying, I don't know if you guys are hip hop fans or anything out there. You guys listening to, I don't know what kind of music you're into, but I have just sat down the other day because I haven't had a lot of time to do this, but so there's this group called Atmosphere, and they're from Minnesota, or how Minnesota people like to say Minnesota. It's Minnesota, right? And but they came out with this new album, and dude, this album is something special. I don't know what it is. It's just, let me just say, first off, you have to be a fan of them, and but more along the lines, not even a fan of them, you have to be a fan of hip hop. And that's my brand, that's my style of music. Don't get me wrong, I love the blues, and I love rock and roll and all that other stuff. And but if you had to ask me, like, if I had to go, if I only had one type of genre to listen to, of course it'd be a toss up, but I would have to say hip hop would be the one. Oh, sorry, lack of sleep last night, but man, this album sounds like a old, like, throwback, like late 90s, early 2000s mixtape or something. I don't know. They just did something weird to it. And but at first I didn't like Atmosphere. It's consisted of two dudes, Slug, and he's the lyricist, and Ant, he's the producer and mixer of all the music and everything. And I can't even remember what the album's called. It's like Sporadically Somewhere Else on Earth or something crazy. I don't even know. But for all you listeners out there, if you want something new to listen to, dude, check out that album, Atmosphere. You could type in Atmosphere 2023 or whatever it is. But that album is growing on me. Growing on me like a thick patch of fucking poison ivy. Just going right up my ass. But yeah, I was just surprised because their last couple albums have been hit or miss, but this thing, man, I don't know. It's definitely worth the look, or the listen, I should say. So, what else has been going on this week? I'm not going to talk about Biden tripping down some steps or whatever he did. I don't know, fell off a sled walking down some aisle, or whatever he did. I'm not getting into any of that. The Stanley Cup playoffs. And I say playoffs, it's actually the Stanley Cup is here. And last night was game 1. or no, the night before was game one. And man, these two teams, they got the Las Vegas. Why am I blanking? Blanking like a blind kid eating dang Cheerios through his nose, or the fucking fuck, I don't know. Las Vegas. I want to call them the Saints or something like that. I'm blanking. Anyways, but so it's that and the Florida Panthers. And it's so weird because both of these teams, they've never been to a Stanley Cup, I don't think. Well, no. They have been. I know the Florida has, but they haven't been there since like 1996. So going back, I mean, dude, can you imagine going back to the Cup? Like, these dang, I mean, both of these teams, they've never won a Stanley Cup before, so they're grinding it out, man. And they are really, I mean, they're looking to, I mean, that game the other night, I mean, they're looking to clear off someone's headspace. I mean, really chickadee check someone's mouth into their, into a past life, where damn, I don't know, where somehow along the lines George Washington is taking out his wooden dentures or whatever, and just popping a couple of those damn tooth morsels or whatever into his gum piece. But they're, both teams are not taking it easy on each other. It has been a battle, and it's going to continue to be a battle. So, Las Vegas Knights, man, what are they? Dude, it's just going to bother me. I can't believe I'm blanking on this. And I know all you guys are like, yo, it is this, you idiot. And I'm like, I know I'm an idiot. Okay? I just, yeah, Las Vegas Knights. All right, Las Vegas. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But they're in there and they're doing work, man. And it seems like they want it more than Florida, but we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be an interesting fight, man. So, I'm not gonna get into the NBA playoffs because that's just boring now. The Nuggets are gonna beat the Heat. It's gonna be what it is. Whatever that 7'10" white cat is, I mean, this guy's dribbling basketballs off of other basketballs, and somehow, I mean, this cat's unbelievable. And I don't even know how to pronounce his name, and I'm not even gonna try. So, man, what else? What else is going on? This series that I was watching it's off. It came to a close and all that stuff. But if you guys haven't seen the show Barry, you guys should check that thing out. It's pretty hysterical in certain ways. If you like that dark comedy and that sort of thing, I mean, usually it's not I like dark comedies. Not saying that you guys are asking for my opinion. Me, I'm more like slapsticky, goofy, that sort of thing. But Barry was a pretty exciting show, and the episodes aren't very long, which is good, because that stuff could go on for an hour or so, easily. But they shrunk it down to maybe 40-minute episodes, 30-minute episodes, or whatever. I will say season 3 was a little okay, but how things took place, and how Bill Hader is the star in that show, and you can catch it on HBO Max. I'm not trying to promote it or anything. I'm just saying that it was a good show. And it actually had a beginning and an end. So you didn't get to see it cut off like all the rest of this riffraff that, they put on. I've mentioned that in the past about just how they start up shows and then they end them abruptly, and you get to, all the cast and characters you get to know, and then all of a sudden they just take it away from you. The network doesn't want to put it out anymore, and you're like, dude, I just spent all this time, and you don't even give me an ending. Oh, don't get me going. Stuff just irks me like me putting on all this weight. I got to get rid of this weight. That's my goal in the next I'm about to do a life change real quick because I feel like I can't fit into my shirts anymore. I mean, this is getting ridiculously I'm getting a little on the grotesque chubby side of things. I can't even start not to even be able to see my neck with this extra chin going on. You see this thing? Oh, I got this, I don't know, this waddle, like life is just, we were talking about growing up, and this is not a part of life that I was thinking I was going to get into, but hot damn. Yeah, man, that's what's been going on this today, this week. Yeah, not much. I'm not gonna jump into any news or anything like that, but yeah, man, it's been quite the week, and this is just the start of it. So, I don't think there's anything else, man. Not much else is going on, man. Just the playoffs and they got this new Spider-Man coming out. I'm not even going to get into that because it's just another Spider-Man. And yeah, it's a new week. So, I guess on that note, I'm going to go. I'm going to roll out. I'm going to get some of this editing done so we can post this later. I hope everyone out there has a beautiful rest of the day. And I'm really encouraging you all to go back and watch that interview. Yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got. So, all right, everybody, I am gonna roll. Put on this theme music again real fast, and we're out. So, everyone take care of yourselves. Be good to one another. And like I always say, stay true to yourselves out there, people. That's all you got. All right? Be well, everybody.